Now, this is a pretty big question. I've been getting this question actually a lot throughout all the prediction videos we've been bringing on the channel. And there's a lot of things to think about, but I think today I'm going to take today's video and talk about my personal opinion on how I think Piggy will end. I will also be sharing with you guys some insight on what Minitoon said about chapter 12. So that's going to be quite interesting. And it's also going to play in what we may possibly predict, what will happen at the end. Now, there is still a lot of time before we reach the end, but we're going to touch on all the topics, so here we go. Also, if you guys want to drop a like on the video and share it, it is much appreciated and shows your support for the channel. And if you want to stay up to date with the latest Roblox Piggy live streams, also prediction videos, some fun challenges, make sure to subscribe as well. And if you want to show your further support, you can always use star code BIGB2 when purchasing Robux. With that being said, let's roll into how I personally think Piggy will end. So I've been thinking for a long time about bringing you a video on how I personally think Piggy will end, but I decided to really wait on it. I could also wait more chapters and kind of bring it to you, but at the same time, we are getting close. If we stay on the timeline, that chapter 12 will be the final chapter. That's only if that's going to be the case. Minitoon did say that is subject to change, depending on what everyone else wants. So let's say we don't want it to end at chapter 12, and we want chapter 13, 14, and so on. I'm sure he will figure out a way to extend the story, which would also be cool. I really love story-driven games, especially things that rise a little bit of suspicion, a little bit of mystery. I've been doing that on the channel forever, and this is amazing to actually follow. And again, it gets me excited every time I do these prediction videos. I always come up with like pretty cool ideas while I'm actually making it. So I'm going to talk to you about how I think Piggy will end. We still have some time before we get there. So again, this is subject to change. Right now at this current point, this is my personal opinion on it and what I think could possibly happen. So I'll be honest, when I first started playing Piggy, I did not think that it would actually end up to where it is now. I think a lot of things changed. And again, the story really starts picking up and getting interesting. I would say probably around the forest, once we realize that Doggy is sick, and then it's like, wait, what is going on? And then once we start learning about the infection, we start learning about Mr. P, then Mrs. P gets introduced, then we get, TSP and the notes. So when we really start paying attention to the notes and we really start paying attention to the details, that's when things start getting really interesting. And then you're kind of looking between the dotted lines. I think that is the exact quote that it may possibly be. But anyway, you kind of start looking in between the lines, shall I say, and then you find these little small details which could kind of shape and turn how Piggy will actually be and how Piggy will actually turn out in the end. So my personal opinion on how I think Piggy will end, I would do a full breakdown down through now of chapter 1 through the chapter we're on now, but I think I'm just gonna jump straight to it. If you did miss again any of the following prediction videos, I have a complete playlist where you can check it out. But I'll start maybe, let's say, from chapter 9 or chapter 8, where we see Mrs. P's picture, and then we roll into chapter 9 where we're ending with Zizzy, and we're ending with leaving Pony behind in the city with the infected grandmother and also Ellie Elephant, and then we find this mystery person behind the dumpster. Also, another cool thing is that it's starting to make me think that maybe it is Giraffe, but I don't want to straight assume that. I know we did get the new Giraffe skin, which means Giraffe may make an appearance in chapter 10 or 11. I think pretty much all the skins we have that are actual characters eventually end up in the actual game, like in the storyline. I don't expect us to get like the devil or the angel skin in the storyline, unless of course players pick that. But as far as following the story, I don't think that's something we will actually get. So chapter 10 is set to come out next weekend. If you're watching this video today when I release it, it is set to come out next weekend. Chapter 10 is not out right now. Let's say you're watching this in the future. So again, this might actually change. Maybe we'll do this at another point depending on if Piggy gets actually extended. A lot of people think there's going to be a Piggy 2. I think Piggy will actually keep the same name. I know there's been some fake Piggy 2 games, so I don't think he would change the name to Piggy 2, but I think it would actually just extend the chapters. I think that would make the most sense. So I think when it got to around the hospital, I would say chapter 6, I believe that is. Chapter 6 is when I started thinking, when we realized that you were hallucinating Doggy. At that point, it really made me question, are you even living in the actual game? Like, are you asleep? Are you dreaming? Are you in a crazy house? Because just imagine this as a theory, just a theory. That's all this is. This, of course, is not confirmed. But just imagine that you are sick yourself and you're kind of, let's say, in a crazy house, for an example, and you've been forced to watch Peppa Pig forever. So let's say you're getting brainwashed and you're watching Peppa Pig, and then it turns out that you're actually, let's say a doctor is coming in there all the time and injecting you with needles, and then after that you kind of, you go to sleep, you wake up and you're just constantly watching Peppa Pig, and then you end up in the story. Although that is a little bit dark, you never know. I mean, this is Piggy, but just saying. But that's also one theory, that you're just kind of crazy, and maybe not that you're being brainwashed watching Peppa Pig, but I know my first initial thought before the crazy house bit was that you're just dreaming. Like, your favorite show is Peppa Pig, you're dreaming, and all of this is happening. Or let's say you have insomnia, you can't sleep, and you're also kind of just having these somewhat of a lucid dream in a way, and you just, you're just kind of, you're in this state of being aware that but you're not really aware that you're dreaming. So maybe that wouldn't actually work, because then your character would realize that you're dreaming. This could be very interesting. But the reality of it is, or maybe the not reality of it is that you're not really there. Because, there's a lot of things that happen in the hospital when you were hallucinating Doggy. And again, we don't know if Doggy is actually real or is alive. We do know these characters will eventually come back. I know that Minitoon's been doing like little tweets here and there representing that Bunny will possibly come back, or Doggy. So again, it's all going to be very, very interesting. There was also a really good tweet by Minitoon, the creator of Piggy, saying that there might be multiple endings to chapter 12. So imagine that there are multiple endings and multiple things you could actually, and kind of passageways you can actually do. I would love that kind of storyline, like, the Telltale Games route, or like Minecraft story mode, where your decisions kind of affect the outcome. Or again, you're caught at the very end to choose who do you want to, let's say, cure. Let's say at the end you find one cure for everyone, and then you're kind of set to choose who you want to cure, and then that will lead you into the end in a different story. Then that would also roll into that, but I would really love to see that if it ends that way, where you're kind of stuck with the decision. You have one cure left and the infected are coming towards you, or you have to choose to save Mrs. P if Mrs. P is actually infected, or things like that. But again, my personal theory is that none of this is real. You are dreaming. Of course, on the grand scheme of things, if you think that, okay, you're talking about talking potatoes and animals being infected and chasing you, and it's kind of course doesn't seem real, but it is a game, so we do have to bear that in mind, and it's a really fun and story driven game. But that's my theory on it. I think either you're dreaming or you're in a crazy house, and let's say you're just a big fan of Peppa Pig, and then that's where all these characters are kind of rolling in a bit. But again, that's just pretty much my theory on it. It's kind of hard to go into straight detail on every single thing, but we'll see how the story actually plays out. But that's just my thoughts. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at your thoughts on what you think and how you think Piggy will end. So this first comment was by Zach Robinson, and they said, my theory is when you feel sick in the sewers of the school, you had a potion, but you never knew and have been dreaming everything and wake up to find Mr. P giving you a cure. Once the cure kicks in, you and Mr. P, and you try to find everyone, I guess with Mr. P, and you give them a cure, and then it comes to chapter 12, when you find that Mr. P and cured against TSP and infected, you have to cure them before they infect or kill you. Please like so Big B can see and use in his next video. P.S. I'm using star code Big B too. Hey, I appreciate that a lot. Very cool theory there. Rebecca Davies says, my theory is in the end we catch Mr. P and we take him away, but he says that I've been framed by my brother, the Super Potato, which would be TSP, and Mrs. P, cause I believe that she was ill and she wasn't and was able and was forced to do tests on my friends, and that's how they infected everyone. And there might be Piggy 2 where Mr. P helps you along the way to stop them. That would be very cool. And also the Piggy 2 idea. Jess Animates says, I have a theory. Bunny is working with Mr. P. Ooh. Or whoever is infecting everyone, and here's why. 1. Notice how Foxy says multiple friends left him in there. 2. TSP only said Doggy and Foxy got what was coming for them. Oh, this is getting very intense now. 3. We never see canon infected Bunny. Remember, skins don't count. So what if Bunny lies about drinking the potion, or Mr. P/TSP gives her the antidote if she would help one of them? Maybe at the end of Piggy, chapter 11 or 12, Bunny would reveal herself and you would have to beat the level with a quick and smart bunny. Instead of traps, she would use carrots, which would stun the player for a little more time than normal traps. I hope you enjoy my theory. Big B, please notice me. You are absolutely noticed, and you hit some really kind of interesting points on that, and it's really messing my brain up a little bit now. Noah Lucas says, your player is in a dream and you have the flu. That could be. Diabolus Trunk says, I think it's a dream because in all chapters, it's at night, and normally you sleep at night and make a dream. That's actually one of the simple but so good theory. B. Lay says, my theory is I heard the memory theme and it sounds like a sleeping tune. So I think in the future chapters, maybe memory will attack you in a dream. And maybe Mr. P was a brilliant doctor, but was possessed by memory, creating all potions that infects the characters, making an infected army to take over the world. I still think TSP is the secret Piggy, cause maybe memory is the secret Piggy. And you guessed in one of your videos that Doggy is a hallucination. And I think it is true because maybe memory put Doggy in your mind. Oh my goodness, this is getting interesting. And TSP was trying to act nice and try and gain your trust, and Mr. P's first potion was tested on Piggy, aka I think the strongest, most aggressive Piggy ever. And the first potions was a highly dangerous, even changing form of the infected, and after that Mr. P made different potions and different abilities for the infected characters. But when Mr. P gave the potions, they were not fully infected because it takes a while for the transformations to fully infected. And for Mrs. P, I think she was also infected but was proven immune to Mr. P's potion. Wow. Kingly Noob Oof says, maybe all of this is a dream. 007 and stuff says, I know that this is going way off track, but my theory on chapter 12 ending, where you wake up in the hospital, Mr. and Mrs. P are beside your bed, and in front is Peppa Pig's family, and Daddy Pig tells you that you were on the lawn and brought you to the hospital. He also says you were in a coma for 12 days and 4 weeks, and Mrs. P said they found some sort of substance in making the coma duration longer while they had a chance to scan your body. Mr. P said it was all a bad dream, but you're home and safe. You will have no more hallucinations since you beat this virus, and that's when it ends. That is such a good theory. And let's just, for an example, what if the theory is that we're actually George? Like, being that George is the one missing, what if we're the one actually missing and we're living like that reality in this dream in a way? Like, the things that's happening to George now in the situation, that's what we're kind of going through. But if that makes any sense, like we're actually George, I don't know, this is getting interesting. Watermelon Fun says, my theory today, what if you had bad insomnia and when you escape, you wake up, and if you died, you would either wake up scared or die in your sleep, and every chapter is a dream, and the players choose their nightmare chapter, and your bad insomnia makes you see the Piggy/Piggies that you love, and maybe in this game, you love Peppa Pig, and you also see other people from your imagination, like an imaginary friend, and you are in an insane room or in the hospital in a special hard to escape room. I was thinking that as well. Vivian predicts that for Bunny, at least the prediction for Bunny, she was a police officer before you met her, then she survived when the Piggies attacked the officers. After that, she ditched the job of an officer, and then later she was injured on a covered eye. Well, she was injured and the covered eye by one of the infected. Then time passed, you meet her, you become friends, and when you put her in the hospital, she thought you'd die. She noticed you woke up after the events of the hospital. When you guys got to the metro, you noticed Piggy or Barry was there. But maybe when you went to the exit, the metro, Mr. P told Bunny to drink it, and before she drank it, she was sick. But when you got all the stuff to exit, Metro Bunny was already fully infected, but it looked like she was normal. And then the rest was a dream. We're all kind of thinking that this is a dream. And Slushy Play says, it could be a dream in chapter 12 and you're actually in a coma for a few years, or you predicted the future, but as soon as you wake up, you become infected. That just, that is scary there. And I think that's going to conclude today's video. So do you think we're caught in a bad dream? Do you think we're actually insane ourselves and is just in a crazy house? Someone who's just been such a huge fan of Peppa Pig and just went crazy? Again, a lot of theories out there, but a lot of people are also thinking that this is just one bad dream and none of these chapters are actually real. But that's going to wrap it up for today's video. I thank you all so much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, feel free to leave a like and share, and also feel free to subscribe for more if you're new to the channel. And then let me know what you guys think of this down below. How do you think Piggy will end? And I will see you in the next video.